I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news on some levels. However, not all true stories need to be told in movies. Chase Lehocky here at the Blue Futon reviewing My Penguin Friend. What's about pretty simple premise. There's a guy who is in Brazil, and a penguin came to him 8 consecutive cycles, and then after the 8th year, he disappears, and they're thinking because, he found a family. But anyway, this is about him having a friendship with this penguin, and news cameras, the community coming together through in and throughout. And I think that's really it for this movie. This movie has no dilemmas, has no issues, and the quote-unquote issues or drama added into this movie, you could tell was Hollywoodized and probably, I'm going to guess, 99% fake. And if it's not, let me know down below and I will totally eat a sock. Anyway, so talk about the positives of the film. I do think the penguin scenes are very cute. They remind me of a Blue Planet, semi-Planet Earth style documentary where I get to watch the penguin swim. Yes, there are some CGI elements that are very, very noticeable. But I'll say one thing about penguins that they don't really show in this film. Did you ever watch that scene? I want to say it's from Blue Planet, if I'm not mistaken, where a butt ton of the penguins were like stories above a glacier, and they were all babies, and they were all looking down at the water, and it was like an avalanche of like penguins like, well, I guess I'm jumping. And it's like, how animals survive is truly amazing when you think about it, where it's like this 4-month-old penguin or 6-month penguin's like, yep, we're jumping. Don't know if it's going to kill me, but let's do it. It's like the instinct of these creatures are fascinating, where they have that compass of north, south, east, west. They know exactly where they're going. Fascinating, and I do think this movie does a good job talking about that. Jean Reno does a good job in this movie. I didn't know he was Brazilian/Portuguese, which, if you didn't know, Brazilian Portuguese and Portugal Portuguese are different, because I had to learn both of them, and yeah, I don't know it anymore, because I'm stupid, okay? All right, so there's that, and I think he's a Frenchman, so I thought that was an interesting casting on that level. But I do like the movie, the overall aesthetics of the movie. It's cute, it's family friendly through and throughout. But I think the problem with this hour-and-a-half movie, it didn't need to happen. Yes, I understand you want to tell this true story about a guy and his penguin. I understand. However, when you're adding these backstories, especially something that might have happened like years in the past with Miguel, I'm going to say it's fake. And the reason why, like I said, I could be wrong, but the reason why it feels fake is the whole point of this backstory of him kind of being depressed and he's treating this penguin like his son is because his son died in a drowning accident, and the same thing almost happened to the penguin. So I understand why they wanted to connect the two, but it just felt very forced and fake. Also, when they did a backstory about one of the girls gave him a present, then he finds the present not knowing who gave the little kid the present, and so he wears this necklace. And there's one point in the story where he could have talked to her or showed her the necklace, and there could have been a good connecting moment, but it doesn't happen. So I felt like that was a lost cause for like not trying to bring the audience in through and throughout. Also, there's another backstory about these scientists that are like, they do the like mark penguins, they mark different animals in nature to see like their movements, etc., etc. Well, there's a backstory about these 3 of them trying to get this penguin Dim Dim to bring him to a university, and so these 3 scientists can get a grant. That was very forced into the movie, and I understand why, because they needed to make a movie about this. They're like, what can we add in the background to make this movie a little bit longer? And so they added that to it, even though, like I said, there was no dilemma. You knew exactly what's going to happen. You know there's one scientist lady who's going to be like, nah, yeah, I could use the grant money, but the penguin needs to be in this environment, because even though it is, doing penguin stuff 6 months out of the year, the other 6 months, 4 months, it is hanging out with the human beings. It is chilling. It is having a good life. It's like, it's enjoying both worlds. And of course, that is a dilemma where you could talk about zoos, aquariums, of like, when you have these animals in zoos, are they enjoying life? Of course, when you talk about chimpanzees and gorillas, They say chimpanzees and gorillas and zoos live like 15, 20 years longer because they're always eating, they're stress-free, they have everything they need. Yes, of course, they don't have the huge, vast, open environment, but they don't have to worry about death. They don't have to worry about predators. They are just enjoying life through and throughout. So that is that, pro and con of like, yes, are these animals in cages? Absolutely. However, are they having a better life than they would? And who are we to tell them that they aren't? Like starving and just, because you see some of these, planet Earth stuff, what's happening to these animals, and it's vile and dangerous. Like panthers versus alligators and stuff like that. You're just like, cray in the membrane. Anyway, My Penguin Friend, it's an cute family movie. However, I just felt like it was very, very, very unnecessary. So My Penguin Friend will receive a 2.5 out of 5 futons, which equals at 50%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics at 85% with 33 of them. Audience score 97% with over 100. No critic consensus. Maybe I was expecting a lot more. Of course, a lot of the audience reviews are doing 5 out of 5s, 5 out of 5s, 5 out of 5s. Yes, I understand that the audience reviews a bunch of 5 out of 5s, and critics are giving it 3 out of 4, B minuses. I don't know. Yes, it's a story about love and healing, but I needed more as a person who watches a bunch of these films. This one, I'm just curious. I'm trying to find a negative one to see like why. So this girl gave it a C. Sure, it's heartwarming, but boilerplate plot. I mean, I have to agree. Another one, Mark reviews movies. Yeah, it's heartwarming, but it just, there's no struggle, there's no dilemma, and I understand the reasoning, but yeah, 50, 97, 85. Chase Lock here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the things, Bluetontopia. You Blue Futon, think watch a great day, and I don't care what you say tomorrow, week, from the year, for every single freaking one of you. And of course, if you love this movie, good on you. Like, seriously, do not have me tell you what a good or bad movie is. I'm just telling my opinion, and you should be the judge for your own brain.